Good morning, everybody. Once again, a beautiful dawn. The moon is waning. It's like about a quarter right now. And the gentle lapping of the waves. I think there must have been a boat that passed by further out. The tide is starting to come in. Cloudless morning. I've now that the days are the day is getting lighter earlier. I've taken to not setting my alarm or just completely, removing my phone and letting myself be more in the rhythm of the day awakening. And I have my natural alarm, which is the tui. It seems to be the first bird to wake up and start calling, and that's usually when it's still dark, barely light anyway. So that's a. I like getting up early. Sometimes it's a bit early, depending on when I've gone to bed. But it's a lovely way to be awoken in the morning, and it offers a certain amount of freedom. I think it's just allowing myself to wake as the day wakes, and I feel fortunate to be able to enjoy that process. It sort of seems counterintuitive almost that having structure offers freedom, but I think I guess sometimes I find that the word freedom, it has no boundaries, and I suppose there's truth in that, but I think just in our everyday life, if we can create certain routines or self-care routines that we can do, whether that's journaling. Like for me, I like to come down to the water as often as possible. It's not every morning, but it is regularly. And I just find that's a really nice way to reset myself. And I think, breakfast is a ritual, is a routine. The sun is just about to come over the horizon. It's moved right around. I don't know, I'm just trying to think, it's probably moved like, I don't know, if I look at a 180, it's probably moved about 30, 45 degrees since I started doing recordings down here, which was back in, I think, June or July. So I was doing some grocery shopping yesterday, and I purchased a New Zealand grown product, and there was like the price had gone up drastically, because there had been a shortfall of the crop, a major shortfall, and so it was going to take time to recover. And I was informed that the majority, like 70% of this product, was exported. And so that was the sort of, that was the first priority, as it were. and that's and that to me was like, well, I understand we have trade agreements, and I guess that's that's it's part of doing business. But at the same time, it was like, well, not to say that this was an essential um, food source. So, you know, there are alternatives, but um, I just it brought back to me the knowing that here in New Zealand, like we're a country that can produce all its food. Basically, we can feed ourselves, and yet um, in some ways we struggle to do that. Affordability is one thing, and there's just not enough competition in grocery stores. So there's a monopoly or a duopoly. There's two major chains, I guess you call them, that run the system, and so we're kind of at the mercy of what they decide. But it just sort of brought home to me about the the freedom in being able to grow one's own food. Yes, you are at the mercy of the seasons and the weather, like everywhere. But I think it allows one to be in rhythm with the seasons, and that I think is healthy as well, because that's where our bodies are at the time. And the sun, that's cool. It's just coming up right behind a tree that's out. There's an island out in the inlet, and if I can show it to you, it shows up at all. Where is it? Yeah, there's that tree. You can see that tree there, and then let me just bring that up. There, it's going to be very bright soon. I hope the horizon is okay. Yeah, that's so cool. It looks very far away to you, but it's a lot closer for me. Yeah, hope that's not too blinding, but stunning morning. Just being able to grow our own food, and have a couple of fruit trees, an apple tree or a pear tree. Perennial crops like asparagus, or they do take a bit to come in. They take a few years to establish the crown, but things that or berry bushes, raspberries, blackberries, or currants or blueberries, things that come around year after year, and then being able to grow. Oh, it's such a beautiful morning. Yeah, be able to grow one's own food. And so I think, when freedom is in our self-expression, when we can actually, create, I guess, our style, as it were, express our style, whether that's in the food that we grow, or, creatively if we're doing a project, or, just some way to express our freedom within a routine, or in the confines of social norms, or whatever that is. I think it's still possible that people can have a sense of autonomy in their day. And I think where sometimes lack of freedom can be self-imposed. I think it's sometimes that's just social conditioning from our early years, and that I would say that's for myself. I've found that, and it's taken me a long time to have the courage, as it were, to go against the grain. It's kind of my nature to go against the grain, just because that's just who I am. But realizing that yeah, that's what I need to do, in terms of not to just for the sake of it, but it's just I tend to I don't fit the norm, and I guess I don't necessarily fit in, and realizing that that's an attribute, not a flaw. So I think if we could recognize that within ourselves, that or our unique behaviors, or a unique style, being, is actually an attribute. And sometimes, again, drawing on my own experience, when we feel like we've failed or we've made mistakes in life, and that why isn't it working, as it were, that these are actually these are sort of uh, nudges and guidances to steer us in other directions, and that we're actually, I can't actually see if I'm on camera or not. I hope I am. That we actually we have another path, that or a fork off the path that we're on, perhaps, that we're thinking that we're supposed to fit into, and become this certain way, but in actual fact, when we go down certain roads that don't work out, it's an awakening for us to change course, and and go with the flow of what our intuition, and what inner guidance is showing us. I'm just seeing a kingfisher land in the tree up there in a high spot. There's such beautiful little birds, beautiful colours, electric blue, and kind of got a pale chest, and they're a bit like a kookaburra in their shape, but they're smaller. Oh, that sun, so beautiful. But yeah, just these are just some thoughts that came to me in the last sort of 24 hours, and I just wanted to share them, and hope they've given you some food for thought and inspiration. Be yourself, enjoy yourself, love yourself, trust yourself. Enjoy this beautiful day.